glad to have Jeremy on the program today. This is Real Music. My name is Solomon David. Some friends call me as D. On the program, we give voice to real music and showcase to the world real musicians. As you know, the program is not just about us, it's just about you. You can send me comments, your questions, your contributions, your suggestions, your observations through the contacts playing on the screen. With me in the studio is a seasoned and a renowned violinist. He's very sound when it comes to playing on the violin, group of the orchestra. He's been playing for a very long time. Can you join me as I make welcome Israel Etakon? Oh, excellent. Good to have you on the program. Let's get to meet you.
Yeah, Etakon Israel. Yeah, started violin about 10 years ago. Yeah, in my church.
All right. Now, you see, it's very rare to come across people who play violin because of how difficult it is to learn and all that. So tell us, how did it all start? Talking about your music career, I mean, my emphasis now on your violin skill. How did it all start?
It started in the church. Yeah, I started in a group in the church.
How long ago was this?
Like 10 to 11 years ago. Yeah, then I moved. We have different groups in the church that plays the violin. We have the same different. I was in a group, then I moved to another group because of a friend of mine that was in the group. So there I spent like 4 years. Then before I moved to the, we have an orchestra in the church. They played more advanced music. We call them the orchestra, DK Symphony Orchestra. So I moved from the children orchestra, then I moved there. Then I studied under DKO, which is not DSO now. DKO, that is Daniel Kolawole Olukaya Orchestra, which is DSO now, Divine Symphony Orchestra. So I moved there after 4 years from the children orchestra to the DS Orchestra, which I studied under them. Then I later auditioned and got into the orchestra. Since then, I've been in the orchestra. I'm in one other orchestra too, the Mountaintop Orchestra. It's founded by Dr. D.K. Olukaya at a music school. Yeah, I am in 2 orchestras right now. So it started in the church. Yeah, when I joined the junior orchestra, then I joined the senior orchestra. Then that's where it started. Then from there, I've traveled. We've traveled to South Africa actually. We went there for Stellenbosch International Music Festival, which we went for master classes on chamber music and orchestral music. Then I've also been in a Muson ensemble, as Music Society of Nigeria, the ensemble by Tunde Jegede. That was in 2016 before he went back to the UK. So that's it.
Excellent. You know, it's particularly inspiring to see someone who takes interest in playing of the musical instrument. Now, picking this in particular, you started some years ago. How old were you when you started this fantastic musical instrument?
I was about 12 to 14 years old. Between 12 and 14.
14 years,
yeah.
About 10 years ago. 10 years ago,
yeah,
right?
10 years ago.
You see, why did you choose violin? There are several other musical instruments. Why did you choose violin? Why?
I just chose violin because my friend was playing the violin and it was a very popular instrument in the church. Most people play the violin in the church, so most children play the violin.
Which of the churches?
Mountain of Fire Miracles Ministries.
Okay, that was where you got the inspiration from. You saw your friends playing and you took interest in it,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
So when you started out, what were your parents' reactions? Because most of the parents want their kids studying, reading, and of course, sometimes they look at some kids that are always moving around instrument as though they are not serious, they are not academically committed and all that. So what were your parents' reactions when they spotted out that you picked interest in the musical instrument?
My dad was actually happy, but he said I should go and learn the piano, but I didn't learn the piano, I learned the violin, but he was happy that I was in the church playing an instrument. But sometimes he complains that I spend too much time for rehearsals. I go for rehearsals so much. Sometimes then it was then he used to complain about that. But playing an instrument does not mean you will not be academically sound.
Now, your dad was happy that at least you were able to pick up the musical instrument. What about your mom?
My mom was not around then.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
So she had little or nothing to add or to of course distract you from playing. So now you've gone to places as a result of this musical instrument. And when you started out, what were the challenges you were faced with? Because I can imagine the sacrifice, the commitment, and of course, which is the reason why we're having here the sacrifice, the commitment, the rehearsals, and all that. So, can you tell us a bit about the challenges you were faced with when you started playing this particular musical instrument?
Yeah, the first thing is holding the violin is actually one of the hardest instruments to learn. So when you start learning the violin, it will be difficult a bit. It will be as if you can never get it, but you definitely get it. You start with the holding the bow, which is there's a way of holding the bow. You don't just hold the bow like this.
Now you're going to give us the analysis, because we're going to get to a segment where you're going to give us analysis of the violin. You're going to tell us the part of the violin and all that, the class of instrument that it belongs to and all that. You're going to tell us all of that. Now, when you started out playing the violin, was there some challenge as to maybe quit leaving this very musical instrument for another, or when you just grasped it, you started playing? Did you face any challenge of having to continuing playing it or leaving it? Did you face any of such challenge? Considering how tedious or how hard it is to learn?
It got to a point I wanted to leave the violin.
You want to drop it, like?
Yeah, I wanted to drop the violin, but
so you somehow
kept
on, and
kept on.
Because due to you just felt that you already have gone halfway, you've gone beyond, dropping it, and you felt it would be a waste of effort if you drop it then, and for something else you continued in it, and that's why we're having you here today. So when you were playing the violin, at some point, I know maybe some people, of course, the number of time it takes for someone to learn a particular instrument is different for the number of time it takes some other people to learn. So now, how long did it take you to learn the violin? How long did it take you to get yourself trained in violin before you started calling yourself a violinist? How long did it take you?
At first, when I first started at the children class, they don't really teach advanced level. They just teach you to a point where you can play things like the hymn. You can play hymn in church. That's the level they teach you to. So at that level, I could only play the hymn, and then I could not really play it correctly in tune. Then when I moved to the Divine Symphony Orchestra, that's when I learned to play everything in tune and well. That's when I started music. I started music theory. But then when I started in the children orchestra, I was just playing. I didn't really know anything about theory. But when I started music theory at the Divine Symphony Orchestra, then that's when I really learned how to play the violin well. Then after like 2 years, when I studied under them, I entered the orchestra. During my time in the orchestra, I got better because we're always having pieces. So
it took you 2 years to learn at the advanced level, like at the adulthood level, like after you left the children stage, right?
Yes, it took me more than 2 years, but it just took me I studied on the orchestra before I had to audition into the orchestra. It took me like 2 to 3 years before I had to audition into the orchestra. But ever since then, and I learned a lot of things under my teacher. Actually, my teacher is Demola, yeah, Mr. Demola. Actually, he's now a violinist he's not a violinist in the US. If you check him on Instagram, you see him, Demola violinist. Really soon he's having a concert with Olamide, yeah, he's very popular. He has gone into contemporary now. He doesn't play classical anymore. Okay. Then I studied under him and also under his teacher, Dele Olutade. Yeah, he's a violin teacher of all of us, like the father of violin, where we started. So when I got into the orchestra, I wasn't really that very good. But during my time in the orchestra, because there was always pieces that they bring that challenge us to rehearse. Like sometimes you have like 4 hours of rehearsal a day by yourself.
4 hours rehearsal. That was intense.
Yeah, that was intense. You have to discipline yourself to rehearse. If not, if you don't rehearse, you definitely won't improve. So we had to discipline ourselves to rehearse, and we had to perform the pieces. And sometimes there were auditions before you even perform with the orchestra. You're already in the orchestra, but there are some songs that are very difficult that you have to do audition again to perform in the church. You have to do audition for our concert master. That is Dele Olutade. He's our concert master. So you have to audition. So we always rehearse. He made us rehearse a lot. So from there.
Now, you see, you mentioned something very striking. Of course, most people would think, behind the fame, there's a pain. Yeah. There's some stuff you have to go through. Before the glory, there's a story. You understand I'm talking about? And now let's look at it cumulatively, put together the number of years. How long did it take you to get to this point as a violinist?
10 years.
Wow. Hey, it took you 10 years. Now it's 10 years now. How long? Now you
I've been playing professionally for like 6 years.
6 years. It took you about 4 years.
Yes.
Now there's a level of consistency in this. My goodness. I'm sure if not for the fact that you decided to you made up your mind, if somebody was pursuing you to do it, I'm sure you would have run away because of how hard it is, right? Yes, somebody was saying, come and play. Somebody was, putting up some pressure on you, would have run away because how intense it is to, learn. Now, you were even saying that it is one musical instrument that is hard to play.
Yes, it's the hardest instrument.
One of the hardest instruments to play. Yeah. So, did you get into it with this knowledge, or you found out when you started out? Did you come in?
No, I found out when I started already, like about 5 years to 6 years. Then when I knew that it was one of the hardest instruments.
As a matter of fact, that was when you now began to probably attach more relevance to it. That being a violinist, that means at least I've been able to achieve a milestone in the musical instrument. I mean, did that occur to you?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Now, you see, this and more we'll discuss after we return back from the break. We're going to be taking a short break now. When we return, the discussion continues.
As the jokes and humor thrown at them.
Welcome back. It's still real music, and of course you're still watching still watching me here with a very renowned and a sound instrumentalist. As a matter of fact, he has been inspiring me with his steps with regards to the violin, his exploit in it. Of course, when you put in much effort in what you do, you get the very best out of it. Before I went on break, you were telling me how the number of years it took you to learn. About 4 years. You started professionally about 6 years ago, and you discovered after you started out that it's one of the hardest instruments to play, and you're very proud to be a violinist? Is that not what? Is that
Yes,
what it is?
exactly,
Because
yes.
you know, it's very, very rare for you. Very hard to for someone to just pick up violin and start playing. Now, going to the couple of questions that I'm going to be asking, but before then, how long did it take you to own your violin?
Actually, church gave us a violin.
Oh.
Church is always giving. When you learn, they will give you a personal instrument.
So
the church gave me an instrument I used for years before, and I got this one recently. I got this one recently, so I stopped using that one.
okay, they gave you that
Yeah,
one
yeah.
when they saw that you started playing,
Yeah.
and you now got this yourself
Yeah, this
not
one.
too long ago.
Yeah, because this one is better. This one has a better sound than that one, so I had to just drop that one and get.
Is it that expensive?
Yeah, it's about 300 to 400,000
1,000
naira.
naira.
Yes.
My goodness, as small as it is.
Yes, it's the sound.
100,000
yeah.
naira. My goodness. And well, at least when you were playing before we started the interview, I enjoyed the sound. So I'm sure in a couple of minutes you're going to be playing for us. So the viewers will not just think we are just doing this theoretically. We are also going to be doing it practically. So you're going to be playing for us when we get to this segment and all that. Tell us your experience when you went to South Africa to play. You went based on the fact that you're a violinist, right?
Yeah,
So tell us your experience when you went to South Africa.
I met a lot of people. I met renowned violinists because they do invite a lot of renowned instrumentalists around the world to the festival. That's at the Stellenbosch Music Festival, Chamber Music Festival. So I met a lot of people there that motivated me. I met Daniel Roland, one of the best violinists in the world, and other violinists there. There we did chamber works. Chamber work is like a group. It's not as big as a symphony orchestra, just a few groups, like 4, 5, 3. You play duet, a trio, a quartet, a quintet, and some other instrument. We did chamber work. I was in a group, but not with Nigerians, not only with Nigerians, with all the South Africans and other people there. So I met a lot of people, from different places, playing different instruments.
How long did you stay there?
We stayed there for like around 14 days, like 2 weeks.
Now you see, you're gonna be analyzing the violin for us.
Okay.
But before you do the analysis, can you just play something, just a little bit? Then afterward, you're gonna analyze just a little bit, so that they will know that we are not just playing around with our tongues here. They know we also can. That was excellent. That was magnificent. As a matter of fact, you just blew me away. Come on, that was great. Now you're gonna be analyzing for us because it is violin is in the string family.
Yeah, string instruments.
So the strangest instrument is the string family. There's brass family. There's a brass family. There's a wood. So you're gonna be telling us. You tell us brief on that. Then you now major on this. So go ahead and give us analysis
of the orchestral instrument.
Yes.
Yeah, you have the string family, which you have the violin as the first member of the string family. You have the viola, yeah, and you have the cello and the double bass, the floor.
All right, excellent. So you're going to be analyzing this for us. Tell us the pattern, just tell us everything about it.
Yeah, from here, there's a head of the violin. Here, there's a head. Then here you have the pegs.
All right.
Yeah, the pegs actually hold the strings.
Okay.
Yeah, for tuning. Then here you have the neck, and that is the neck of the violin. Here's the fingerboard where you're supposed to place your fingers on the neck. Then you have the body of the violin. you have a bridge on the violin. Yeah, the bridge. You have the strings. It uses 4 strings. Then you have the adjuster. This are the adjusters. This is the tailpiece actually. Then you have the adjusters on the tailpiece. So you have the chain rest. Yeah, for the violin. It must always be on the violin. Then you have the shoulder rest. You can play it without the shoulder rest, but actually for you to be more comfortable, sometimes you use a shoulder rest. Most people use a shoulder rest. That's all.
Oh, excellent. You see, you've just given us a mental picture of what being in the orchestra, the musical instrument, the orchestra, the musical instruments, the orchestra. I mean, you mentioned the musical instruments that are used in the orchestra, right?
Yeah.
Now, how many musical instruments do you play?
Actually, I play only two.
Okay.
Yeah. I play the violin and the viola.
Yeah, viola, which is the biggest of
Yeah.
the bigger one of this.
Of
right?
this, yeah, the bigger size of this.
All right. Now, you're gonna be doing something for us, right? You're gonna be doing it, or you're gonna be doing it. Just play and play and play. By the time we round off the program,
Okay.
I'm gonna round up the program. Then you're gonna play this for us. But you see, one of the things that I see as very important in life is for an individual to have an ambition, for an individual to have a dream, a vision. When you are consistent, when you are persistent with what you do, success is definitely inevitable.
Yeah.
With your commitment to it, your diligence to it, definitely you will get to the peak.
Yeah.
Your resilience, your consistent, your commitment, all of this will help you to become the very best. All of that you have consciously or consciously, used to build yourself while you started out, and now you're here. And I know one or two people out there maybe looking up to being like you, because you play the violin, you play it excellently, and you've been able to prove to us that you're one of the renowned violinists in Nigeria today. And of course, it's not going to stop at that. It's going to be you're going to be seen to be whole in Africa, even in the world. Just keep at it. Just keep doing what you do, and the success in what you do will be inevitable. So on this note, I'll be drawing the curtain on the program. Until I come your way, same time, same station, my name is Solomon David. I'm asking you to enjoy the rest of the moment. Bye for now.